need to hear and what it is I need to tell people that are coming to listen to me speak. And one of the biggest things, and this is not even on this, one of the biggest things that I was getting, even last night when I was doing a meditation today, was self-sabotaging beliefs within yourself. Why things keep happening like a merry-go-round, round and round and round and round and round. Before I answer that question, being a psychic medium and doing the work myself, I want to ask all of you, how many times have all of you said, I'm going to do A, B, C, D, or E, or I'm going to make sure that I put myself first, or I'm going to do all these things, and you say that, but you're still stuck in the same mindset, and you've had change and a little bit of movement, but not to the point where things have actually operated from a space of truth, authenticity, peace, harmony, and joy. I know I have. Like, I'm putting my hand up. Like, I want you guys to put your hand up and add to this, because with that, what it shows is that you are at a place in your life right now by being aware of what's not working for your life and being aware of what you need to do to change that. And that starts with you. Yeah. So, pressure for New Year's resolution. I wanted to talk about this because I got a lot of feedback with people saying that they'll say, oh, you know, I want to lose some weight, or, oh, I want to start a new business, or, oh, I want to, you know, have more money in my bank account, or I want to manifest this, or I want to manifest that, la, 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 la. And I'm like, you can have anything in your life that you seek. If you can see it, you can have it, but you have to do the inner work. You have to see what space and vibration you're operating from. And if you're still angry with a family member, if you have still not recognized something that's happened in your childhood, if there has been, and some of you are getting goosebumps, if there has been trauma within your environment as you were growing up, or you have experienced something that you have not removed from your thoughts, meaning have not forgiven, I'm not saying forgive the acts, forgiving yourself for going through a situation and not allowing yourself to heal from that, you are never going to categorically be able to manifest or bring positive impact into your life until you recognize that. And this is where self-sabotaging beliefs come in hand. I know a lot of people that say to me, well, Jackie, I'm doing sound healing, I'm doing the Reiki, I'm, you know, taking the course, or I'm doing another coaching and mentoring course, or I'm doing this, or I'm, you know, doing this course to, I don't know, a building inspection course, or I'm, you know, doing a website course where I can learn about computers and IT and all of this. That's all well and good. But if you're doing this course, are you doing this course because you truly want to do the course? And if you are doing the course because you truly want to do the course, are you taking accountability for why you are or where you are today? Now, with that comes feeling like you're doing everything for everybody else but yourself. Now, I'm going to say 99% of you people, even Transform You here that are here, are still doing things for other people. They've gotten better, a lot better. I'm seeing some amazing elevation. I've seen amazing growth, but I also see the swing back of somebody's mind and the way they process things and the way they look at their life, and they go, okay, I'm going to do this, do this, do this. And then when something comes up that doesn't work or that they can't control, and they swing back to the way that they used to think, that negative self-talk, not giving yourself self-care. This is very important. I haven't posted this yet, but when I was going through a situation where I was grieving somebody that I lost in my life, I had to lean into the grief, and I'm still processing it, still leaning into it. But what I categorically did, and you would have seen it on my social media, and I feel like some of you need to hear this. I said to my husband, Ben, I'll go the night before. I said, I am going away. I have to go away. He's like, what? I said, I have to go away. I said, I have to do this for me. I have to take time out. It's called Mental Health Week. This is what I said, Mental Health Week for me. Now, in the past, before I was doing psychic medium readings, I would never have done that. I would have lent into growing up in a Croatian, very strict family. I would have went, I can't do that. I can't just leave my children. You know, that is the wrong thing to do. But what I realized over the years and years and teaching people for so many years, that if you don't look after you and you don't become the best version of you, you are not going to be the best mother that you can be at your top capability. You're not going to be the best lover, the best partner, the best friend, because what you're going to end up doing is burning out. And this is why I created Transform You, because I want people to learn about healthy habits, but also learn about that you can't make anybody else happy in your life but you. And with that comes relationship tensions. I have seen so many people that have married their soulmate and have categorically know that that's the person they want to stay with for the rest of their life. But over the years, I've seen breakups happen, even though that they've loved that person unconditionally, but they've had to, because what has happened over the years, they lost who they were within that relationship or even at work. And then it became a situation where blame game was happening. I was sitting at home doing everything for everybody else. I was looking after the children while you were out working. And I didn't want to sit at home all day long looking after children. Yes, I love my kids, but I didn't do anything for me. And as time was going on, resentment was kicking in. Then the pressure was building up. But my biggest goal today, and for what I want to teach people, is that what you have to do to heal any type of situation in your life or to make any progress is you have to look at your own life, look at why things aren't working, and what is it that you enabled within these situations that have got you to where you are. So when I was in the toxic relationship with a certain person many years ago, I was very quick at blaming everybody else as to why this was happening. Even when I was working a job I didn't like, I was very good at saying, well, I have to do this because I have to earn the money. I didn't come from privilege, as a lot of you know. I worked 3 jobs, and I was like to scrub toilets, clean windows, work all day long. I understand what it's like to not be able to pay bills. But it wasn't until categorically, even in that relationship, I said that it's actually not this person's fault. It's actually my fault because I allowed it. It's my fault because I allowed myself to be in a situation where I kept making excuses for what this person was doing. Now, yes, granted, I wasn't strong in that moment when the person was isolating me and telling me when I could go out and controlling my every move and being really quite, you can't talk to other males, and following me at my work to really see if I was working. It was almost like, I believe now when I look back at my life, I allowed these situations because of my environment. Now, my father was never like that towards my mum, but my problem was my mum and dad are so loyal to each other, and I'm a very loyal person in friendships, with friends, with loved ones, that I felt that I had to stay in this relationship out of loyalty. That was what I had to learn. I quickly learned that the reason I allowed this is because of what I saw growing up. You've got to be loyal to your family. You've got to be loyal to your friends. You've got to be loyal and do the right thing. So I thought by doing the right thing was staying in a situation that didn't serve me, right? Now, this is what comes to New Year's resolutions. When you put out all these great things, and yes, you can have anything that you want, but the only way that's going to self-serve you in a positive way is if you're consistent and conscious of what you're thinking about yourself, how you treat yourself, the story you tell yourself, and some of the good times you just got down your legs and down your arms, some of you guys, and picking up your energy. That means that the universe is talking to you. And some of you want to cry right now. I'm picking that up. If you've got to cry, let it go, let it shine out. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that nobody can make you fucking happy but you. That's facts. No matter how you look at something, you can't even make your children happy. Yes, it is your duty as a parent to make sure that the most epic human being that you can give them, they're generous, they are kind, they're empathetic, they are healthy, that you can give them everything that you can. But when they get to a certain age, doesn't mean you stop parenting them, but you're never going to be able to. And I've learned this in many years of doing readings and with my own healing work, is that if your child gets to 25 and 30 and 35, mate, you can tell them anything. If they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it. It's that simple. And you know that because we've all done that towards our parents over the years, somewhere along the lines. So with that, can we go back here? Emotional about kids starting school.
That time of year.
Yeah, I wanted to lean into that because I'm getting a lot of questions from people as well, saying that I'm feeling very emotional that my children are starting school. You know, kids and any parent out there right now that where your children are older, I'm pretty sure you can remember when your child first went to, first grade. You probably, some of you might have went, fuck yeah. And then some of you might have went, oh my God, this is so sad. I can't handle it. But with that comes phases, progression. With that comes the knowing that you're setting your child up to, like I said, being the best epic human being that they can, allowing them to be who they are without judgment, without conditions, but also making sure that your child has respect. I'm very big on that. But also what they see is they mimic how you are. So if you are a person that nags, that whinges, that argues, that gossips, that does any of those things, you've got to stop, because what you're telling the universe is that you're draining your energy, you're putting the energy out for somebody else instead of bringing it in for yourself. And you're actually creating unconscious blocks. with that, with your children, right? And some people go, well, I don't know what kind of people they're going to hang around, or, you know, how this is going to all unfold. What I say to you, or what I say to people that I work with, parents especially, is that have the faith and the belief that what you're teaching your children, if it's coming from the right intent, that you will teach them the resilience to be able to make decisions that are of truth and that are well protected. Your child will, I'm a believer that if you look after you, your child will see that and will follow suit. And I've seen it in 20 years of doing readings. I know people where the mother, there's different, you know, ideals in relationships where sometimes a mother will be like, well, I've decided that I want to, like Marissa, take a holiday every year for 2 weeks, and she needs that for her. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I actually said this to my nail chick today. Check my nails up.
Oh, you got it done.
Yeah, got the grace. Yeah, thank you. And but that's a bit grungy, Jackson. Anyway, so I said to the nail chick today, I've said this to quite a few people. I go, what's really interesting about relationships, right? I said a lot of women that I've worked with along the years, and even men, but I've seen this more in women than men, where women will be like, you know, I feel guilty to go out, or I feel guilty to do this, is because of our social environment, socialism, everything that we see. We still have this generational. Even if people say, you know, I'm a feminist, well, I've done lots of readings for feminists, but they still have, you know, some of the ones I've done readings for, there's still this insecurity where they say, I don't want to be married, or I don't want to be loved. I don't care. I'm happy to be myself. And most of the time, 99.9% of the time, that's not true. And what I mean by that is that doesn't take away from their beliefs. What it takes away is that they're not operating from a state of truth and authenticity. Now, if I was that person saying, I'm happy to be by myself, I only realized I was happy to be by myself. And I know this is what I'm going to teach my children, is when I got out of that toxic relationship where that person categorically isolated me and probably even had narcissistic tendencies and very controlling because of the way he was raised. But it wasn't until I started doing the inner work that I said to the universe, and I wrote a list of everything that I want in a relationship. And I said, I'm never going to date another man again until I have all these things, facts. So what I literally did, I got on and I was living in Purpose and Service as a psychic medium in Newcastle. And I was very happy by myself for years because I categorically said, this is about me. My life is about me, not in a way that is selfish, but in a way that I know what I want in a relationship. I know what I want in friends. I know what I want for my work. I know what I want from life. And if I can't have all these things that I choose, then I'm not going to attract that energy. So that is when you're coming from a place of authenticity, that you're happy to be by yourself. But when you're in a place of not being absolutely honest with what it is you want in your life, then everybody around you can see it, because we've all been there. Your children can see it. Your friends can see it. Your family can see it. And even if you mask or hide, there are times you'll sit in the bathroom and you'll cry and you go, what is this all for? I'm a massive believer that life is here to be led. We come on this earth by ourselves, and we leave this earth by ourselves. And one of the biggest things that I want people to learn about how to manage stress is to learn how to tune into your vibration and frequency, to be able to elevate yourself to a point where you're operating from a high consciousness and a high frequency, so you can manifest the things you're calling in, so you can align yourself with the energies that you want, where you can align yourself with bringing your soulmate. So many girls will say to me, and guys, I just want to be loved. I want a soulmate. Well, you're never going to have that if you don't love you first. And yes, you can have a relationship and you can have that without loving yourself first, because there are a lot of people that are like that, but their relationship itself isn't as authentic that it should be. And with that comes healing. So I'm going to give you some activities that I want you guys to do. You can write this down and take away from this. Journaling. I want you to start journaling thoughts that come into your mind when something doesn't feel right, or when you're feeling fear-based thoughts. When I keep looking around, because there's so many people online here, when you're feeling fear-based thoughts, I want you to journal it and see why you're feeling it. Then look at a pattern. When you keep journaling, you'll start to see a pattern. What is triggering these thoughts? Does it come from your mother? Does it come from your father? Does it come from your teacher? Does it come from your friends? You know how many people I know that have friends and they go, oh, they're my best mates. And I'm like, well, I know categorically you don't ask them how they are. Like, you ring them up, and I've heard them on the phone. Well, and I call people out on that. I go, you say that they're your friend, but the first thing I hear is everything is about you. Have you asked your mate how they are? Have you checked in on them? Have you literally, just did I hope everything's going okay. Every time you've talked to a person, I hear it's all about you. And we've all had experienced that. So when you're journaling and you start to feel yourself feel anxious if you get off a phone call, mark my words, that's your higher self and the universe telling you that something isn't fair in this relationship. Something isn't honest. Something isn't authentic. And journaling is one of the best ways you can actually see the things that are working in your life and the things that are not working in your life when you're finding it hard to learn how to differentiate true guidance to false guidance.
Do you have to be a good writer to journal?
No, man. You should say the way I write. Blubs everywhere. La, 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 la. Then I look at it and go, I've circled this is why I'm feeling like this, or this is why I'm feeling like that. But what journaling also does is it takes you out of your head. It allows you to release those negative thoughts. It allows you to release the things that are causing those burdens within your energy and frequency and vibration. And one of the biggest reasons I created Transform You was to show people how to tune into vibration and frequency, because really, I categorically believe this with all my heart and soul, doing 20 years of psychic medium readings and knowing things about people I could not possibly know, worked with the police, I have worked amongst a lot of things, right? Is that when you are flat, negative, you're unhappy, you haven't resolved something that's happened in your life, and you may not think it's trauma. Mate, I know people that have, were told they were ugly at school, and that has forever burned them throughout their lives. So they've looked at themselves in the mirror and gone, I'm ugly, because some kid in year 10 said that they're ugly. That's something that's traumatic or an unconscious block that's sitting within you. So when you're journaling, right, and you start to understand why you're saying negative self things to yourself, or why you feel a certain way when you're around people, that is your higher self talking to you, man. You've got to learn how to tune into that and remove the things that don't serve you. Meditation. I do 3 meditations a day. I do them morning, around midday or just after, and I do them at night and sometimes early afternoon. I sometimes might even do 5. Sometimes they might go for 40 minutes. Sometimes they might go for 3 minutes. Sometimes there might be quick breath work in the toilets, which I have done many a times when I filmed Housewives, when I filmed other TV shows, like Amazing Race. I'm a sort of celebrity, get me out of here. When I was in situations that I wasn't very fond of, but I learned to lean in what was the experience and the blessing in this situation, no matter how something could have looked. So meditation is one way to still your mind, to tune into your higher self, to ask your higher self, what is it I need to hear? To learn how to speak to spirit if that's what you want to do, to learn how to listen to your intuition, because when you're in the space of calmness and stillness, your higher self and your vibration frequency will operate from that vibration, and you'll be able to hear the messages very, very clearly. And meditation will also be able to help you relieve stress or anxiety very, very quickly. Now, I'm not talking about serious mental health issues here. I'm not talking about serious mental health issues. Like, I'm talking about being conscious of your thoughts, being conscious of who you are as a human being, being conscious of how you talk to yourself, being conscious of the story you tell yourself, and also conscious of how you react to other people around you. Like, I know a lot of Europeans, because I am one myself. I'm Croatian. I was born in Croatia, where, I don't know, I'd go to Sydney and we'd go and have these epic meals with all the extended friends and, familia, even overseas when I go back to Croatia, even on my mum's side, Serbia. I'd be listening to all this gossiping. I'd be like, and it might be fun gossiping. Like, I don't know, you should see this one over here. Oh my God, Jekyll. And I'm like, why are you gossiping about old mate Dingo? It's not your business what's going on with her or him. I don't have time for that. I've got shit to do, like raise my vibration and frequency. I don't have time to be listening to your gossip, man. I don't have time for that. So when you're meditating and you learn how to calm and still your mind, then you'll start to find that you'll become more peaceful. When you start to learn breath work, you'll start to learn that everything has an energy. Your thoughts have an electromagnetic energy, frequency to it. Every thought you put out, the universe is listening to. And I can categorically say that because everything on my vision boards I've manifested. I've manifested Ben. I've manifested houses. I've manifested myself on shows. I've manifested Shine Up tours. I've manifested a book. And this is from somebody that grew up in a home where I was bullied for the type of home I grew up in by other people at school. My parents My dad came to this country with no money. Not $1 did he come to this country with. In fact, he came to Australia with no shoes. He was lying in a forest for 3 days trying to jump the border to Italy to get to Australia. That actually makes me cry because I think, like, when I see people, and it's not just my dad, I'm just saying in general, I know what it's like to be in a space where things are hard financially. I know what it's like to actually go, fuck, man, this is how I'm going to get out of this. The only way to get out of this, and even when I tune into what my dad experienced, and a lot of Europeans, or even not just Europeans, even people here in Australia, that, you know, I know a lot of people I've done readings for where they go, well, now they're okay financially, but their parents weren't so good. They couldn't afford shoes. Like, my parents couldn't afford to buy me shoes every month, maybe twice a year, because there was 4 of us. But the point was, there's always love and food and music and generosity. And, you know, my dad would bring homeless people on Sundays where my mum would cook roast meals for them. And I'm just a believer that if my father can come to a country at 15 or 14 and a half, he jumped the border and ends up in Italy jail for a year because he jumped the border, and then ends up back in Croatia after a church, and my dad wasn't religious, so we'll take him in. There's only 2 people they took him, and he was one of them. I know within my soul and vibration and energy is that if you can see it, you can have it, but you have to do the inner work first. And so for me, how I created everything from absolutely nothing, even when I have $4 in my bank account, I was like, right, I'm sick of this. What am I going to do? I'm either going to fight me. I don't compare myself to anybody. I don't operate from a space of jealousy. In fact, when my friends are winning, I'm like, fuck yeah. When people have got coin, I think that's amazing. I don't get jealous of what other people have because that's their journey. My journey is to be the best version of me. So if you can see it, you can have it. I've done it. I've seen so many people over the years that I've worked with do it. I've manifested Ben, my soulmate. I even said to the universe when I wrote a list of everything that I wanted in Ben, I wrote everything that I wanted in a relationship, and I said to the universe, God, universe, we're all connected. I said, I will never date another man again until I have all these things. And one day, for any of you that don't know it, I haven't really shared this story. Transform Your community know this, and the people that I work with. I got a phone call after I become one of the most probably recognized psychics before I did Housewives in Melbourne, right? And people didn't know this. Some people thought I'd become a psychic on the Housewives. It's like, no, one of the reasons I was asked to do the Housewives is because they heard about this chick that had a 3-year waiting list many, many years ago. No sitting there, you know, celebrating myself and putting myself on the internet. It was only ever word of mouth. And I said to the universe all these things that I wanted. And one day I got a phone call from a girlfriend that I hadn't spoken to in years. And she said, I want you to go to this Bondi party. And I was like, no, I'm not going to this Bondi party. I was about to pour myself a glass of wine. And I heard my own voice saying in my head, you're going to go to this party. You're going to drive to Sydney from Newcastle. I'm going to cut this story very short. I go to Sydney. In walks 2 guys, 2 of them being actors that I'd given psychic meeting readings to. And Ben was with them. I knew Ben when I was 14 and hadn't seen him for many years later. Ben goes, oh, my God, it's you. I recognize your walk. Can you let this person in, please, Marissa? And then what had happened, this is how synchronized events happen. So when you meditate, when you journal, you become aware of your surroundings. You become aware of your vibration. You can listen to it. You can tune into it. You can hear what your messages are very clearly. I'm a believer, and this is something else I'm going to teach, is that you need to teach your children what intuition is. Because if your children know how to listen to their intuition, I can guarantee you will never feel unsafe about your child going to a party, going out. If that kid knows how to tune in and know when something's not right, ring mum and dad, I'm out of here, bro. I'm not walking down there. I'm not going down here, because so many of us have done that. I'm a massive believer when you tune into that consciousness, you will always be protected and looked after. I know people literally that have gotten themselves in accidents where they said, I shouldn't have gotten in that car. 100%, but I didn't listen to it. I know people that have said that I shouldn't have done this, and I've done it, and then there was all these repercussions because of it. And it was only the aftermath of it. Somebody here's got a twitching in their eye. The person who's got the twitching in their eye, you need more magnesium. So write that down, because I know you're listening in. It's in your left eye, actually. It's twitches. It's quite a few of you. Magnesium, write that down. That's just a psychic vibe. I heard it, so I have to say it. So anyway, I get to the Bondi party. Ben goes, can I have your number? I go, no, you're not having my number. I remember him. I said, I'll give you my psychic number, but I'll take your number. And I knew Ben had heaps of Shirelles. Off I went. I'm cutting the story very short. Hung out with him as best friends for a year. But that night, when he wanted to lift to the Ivy, Dropped him off there to meet this Sherelle meaning Rashag, right? He's, he was living his best damn life. He was single. And I had a dream about Ben that night. The next day he went to Chris's, one of the other guy in the band's house, and they were doing a record. And I rang Ben and he answered the phone and I said to him, I dreamt you. And he said, well, I dreamt you. And 100% on everything that I have, Ben and I dreamt exactly the same dream. Exactly the same dream. And then we hung out as best friends for a year. And I used to say to my dad, I'm going to be married by the time I'm 30. I had no boyfriend at 29 and a half. None at all. And my dad was like crossing himself going, there's something wrong in your head. How are you going to get married at 30? You don't even have a boyfriend at 29 and a half. I said, I will be married with the particular diamond that I had on my vision board. And I never looked at the financial aspect of the particular diamond. I just saw it on J-Lo's finger and went, I want that diamond because it represents love. Then Ben and I went away and we were only friends, platonic friends, went away to Bundina in Cronulla, just off the back of Cronulla. Ben kissed me for the first time. 2 days later, he proposed, right? But before he proposed, I had a dream. And I rang my mum, and my mum had met Ben as my mate, but my dad hadn't met him. And this is how synchronized events happen. I was journaling, I was meditating, I was tuning into my frequency, tuning into my vibration, learning how to operate from a high frequency, to call in what I'm asking for, how to listen to my intuition, to take my butt to the party, to meet Ben, who is my soulmate, to bring us together. So what happens then is Ben kisses me for the first time. 2 days later, he proposes, but unbeknown to me, but I had a dream that he was going to propose. I rang my mum up the night before he proposed and said, I dreamt my ex, how my life could have looked at like. Then I dreamt the new version of my life. And I said to my mum, he's going to propose. Mum goes, don't be so ridiculous. But unbeknown to me, he had already rang my parents up asking for my hand in marriage. My dad had never met Ben. The first thing my dad says is, does she love you? Ben goes, oh, I think so. He goes, well, if she doesn't love you, I don't care who you are. I'm not interested. So Ben proposes with the diamond that was on my vision board. He had no idea what that diamond was because I didn't tell anybody. I never tell anybody what I manifest. And then we got married a day before my 30th. So what you think is what you create. What vibration and frequency you're operating from, the universe will respond to it. When you're sitting in a state of stress, in a state of unknowing, in a state of scarcity, not taking accountability for your life, for things that aren't working, if you're saying yes to something, but in your heart you don't want to do it, you're operating from a space of scarcity. And with Transform You, the one thing I teach people is that you have to get rid of the things that don't serve you. I'm telling you guys this now for 2025. So many of you are going, I want 2025 to be about me. Well, if you want 2025 to be about you, you have to do the inner work. You have to operate from the high frequency. You have to look at yourself and treat yourself the way you treat your loved ones, your best friends, your children. And self-care is one of the biggest things that any human being can do for themselves. So when I did the Amazing Race, do you know how many people, mostly women, wrote on my thing, oh, it's amazing you're doing the Amazing Race. Congratulations. You know, I predicted my twins in season 2 and season 4 before I had them. But mostly women had written in comments, how could you leave your children? Well, how not? Can I leave my children for a week or two to do something that I love? Because I'm going to be a better version of me. And you know what my IVF doctor said to me categorically, and you'll see this in the circle, anybody that's coming to watch the circle, when there is not a happy mother, every child will feel it. Yeah. Even if you still go, I can't afford this, I can't afford that, I don't want to do this because it's not great for my children. Your children will feel it at 6, 7, 8, 9, 4, 3. How many of you, and you don't have to put your hand up, man, know that some of your parents probably shouldn't have stayed together, but they did. They did out of guilt. They did because they thought that there was no way out. They did because they didn't have financial security. But when you look back, and I know a lot of people that won't say that to other friends, I'll say it to me, will go, fuck, my parents shouldn't have stayed together. That was like a joke. Why? Why did they do that? They actually caused me to actually attract relationships that didn't serve me in a positive way. It made me feel that that's what I had to do, stay in situations longer than I should. So for me, my greatest mission on earth is to show, this is really what I feel so passionately about, is to show, can we turn that down, babe? Is to show people that you are the power, not your partner, not your child, not your boss, you are. And then with that, there's a ripple effect. Your children will learn from that. The people that you're around will learn from that. And if you're operating from a high frequency, the people at your work or the people that don't serve you and are there for your unhealed self will fall away. And when you start healing yourself and elevating to a higher consciousness, man, let me tell you, and I say this in Transform You, you'll start to see how many people drop off. Did for me, and it has done for I know a lot of the Transform You group that I work with, but also even doing readings for 20 years.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Let's answer some questions, girl.
We've actually had a couple of questions come in.
I don't think there's a couple. There's a lot.
I've already got like 3 already just on my list. If anybody else has a question, you can pop it in the Zoom
I can
chat.
say them all in here, girl.
We are saying, though, tonight, Jackie's not actually giving any psychic vibes tonight, but she does that in the circle for group readings. So if you're looking for a psychic vibe and you want to join us in the circle, every couple of months we do a group reading in there. But tonight we've got a couple of questions come through based on what you've been talking about. So I'm going to read them out.
Yeah.
Okay, the first one, and I'll check the Zoom chat in a second.
There's a lot of you here that aren't on face, and that's fine, guys. That you don't need to be. Yeah. But I know that you can all hear everything I'm saying.
And if you're watching on TikTok or Facebook, if you go to Jackie's Instagram, there's a link in her bio that leads you to this Zoom where you can chat with her at the same time. So if you want to do that, that's totally fine. We're going to be online for a bit longer. Okay, so I've got...
While you're bringing that up, I'm like perving at myself. I'm actually looking quite good on this filter, girl.
Look amazing.
I'm like looking at myself going, yes, honey.
All right, so the first question, I've got 3 on my list here. The first question is, if you're in a marriage that's giving you trouble, like a shitty marriage.
Yep.
What should
Can
you
we
do
say it
about
out loud? So if you're in a shitty marriage that's giving you trouble, what are you saying?
What do you do about it?
What do you do about it? Oh,
thing.
girl, this is there's a lot of this that comes up in my psychic medium readings and even will Transform You. Now, I'm a believer that can we let this person in?
Yeah.
There's more people coming in. I'm a believer that everything is healable if both parties are honest, open to change, open to healing, open to recognizing what wasn't working, and open to going, I want to do the work to save this relationship. I'm not a person that will say to you, get rid of it. No. You don't have to get rid of a relationship, but you have to be honest and open about what you're feeling. Can we let this other person in? So if something's not working in your relationship and you think it's coming from a space of that I'm done, you've got to look within and go, am I really done with this relationship? Okay, that's the first thing you've got to ask yourself. Then the second thing you do, you get your journal out. This is why I say journal. Because when you're journaling, all the stuff that you're holding on to, resentment and anger, you can release that out, right? And you can start to look at threads and patterns of why you're feeling the way you are. Now, if you find you speak to your partner and you go and you're absolutely honest about it, and you might even bring somebody that's impartial in, like a marriage counselor or a marriage psychologist, and you have a third party that can actually navigate or drive the wheels for both of you to look at what went wrong. Now, this is the other thing that people have to understand in relationships. You can marry a soulmate and it can all start off very well, but it might be this time in 30 years where you go, who you are today, this is true, is not who you're going to be tomorrow. That's facts. We're always, as human beings, growing and evolving because, right, who you were for 10 years, your children might be at 20 and you go, I put up with this man or this chick's bullshit for 20 years. I allowed it, but I put up with it. But now I'm ready to go back to work. Now I have new friends. Now I'm feeling the vibe where I'm feeling good again. Now I'm feeling a sense of I want more. So the first thing you have to do to this person that's asked this question, you have to look at, do you want to work on this? If the answer is yes, you got to get real with your partner. So fucking real that if you thought about being with somebody else, you say that to your partner. This is why I felt like being with somebody else. Because the majority of times of when I've done readings for people where the relationships are about to break up or they need to break up, and I'm not talking about if you're in an abusive relationship, if you're categorically in a physically or an emotionally abusive relationship and is getting you to a point where it's making you very sad and depressed, you need to get help and you need to get out of that. I'm talking about if you're not in an unsafe situation here, okay? So the most of the time what I see in relationships is people that argue for 3 reasons. I'm going to say the first is you're not arguing about your kid. You're arguing because your partner hasn't given you the attention and the love that you've been seeking for 10 years or for 3 years or for 2. They've stopped hugging you. They've stopped touching your shoulder. They've stopped telling you how much they love you. They've stopped giving you those little kisses. They've stopped doing the work That, and some of you are getting goosebumps, that is a big thing I see a lot of the times when I'm doing psychic medium readings when people come through, or when I'm working as a mindset coach. I will say, are you fighting because your man's not giving or your woman's not giving you the attention that you used to? 70% of the time, that's the biggest reason. But what happens is they don't talk about it for 10 or 15 or 20 years, and it gets to a point where you start bickering and arguing over the dumbest shit. It could be, I don't know, if I can put the glass next to the book, move that, and it's irritating the shit out of you, but that's not the problem. The problem is it's been a laid up effect for years and you haven't been honest. So if you want to do the work and you're open and honest, it's savable. But if it's abusive and unsafe, you need to get out. And I can say that because my sister was in a domestic violence situation. And anybody that knows me knows I made sure my sister was in 60 Minutes, that she talked her story, because I saw this. And actually, some people have asked me, did you pre-see it? And I saw it before I even met him. I actually said it to my sister without even knowing that this guy was on the speaker with her on her phone. When I said, who is he? I don't want to meet him. He's not good for you. He's going to end up being physically abusive. And he did. And so it only happened once, but that was once too many. And if you're in a situation to this person, if it's abusive and it's physically harming you or your children, you need to get out of it.
Yeah. All right. We've got another 5 questions come through already. So we're going to definitely do those and then we'll see how we go for time.
Yes.
Carly in the Zoom chat's got a question. I'm going to read it out loud. Where are you, Carly? I've got to go up more. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Why is it that I feel I manifested my specific person, everything I've noted, and then they left? That wasn't part of the plan. Maybe the universe's plan, but not mine or my manifestation. Don't feel like that's how it was meant to go.
Okay, I'm not laughing at you, Carly. Okay, so the way sometimes I deal with things is I laugh. Like when somebody, like if I'm triggered with grief or something, I laugh uncontrollably like a crazy one. I'm not laughing at you about what you're saying, but I kind of had this feeling, right? Okay, one of the reasons things like that can happen, I know somebody that manifested a man where she said that she wanted him to do runs with her. She loves running. And she manifested this man that she thought was the love of her life, amazing, la, la, la. But she didn't write on the list that I want him to be, the word wasn't honest. The word was that I want him to be open and receptive to who I am without conditions, right? And that he's open to traveling, all these things. So she wrote all these things that she wanted in this relationship. And one of them was being a runner. So in correlation to what you're saying, and I'll get there in a second, was that the relationship was going swimmingly well until one day he said he's going for a run and never returned. And she lent into the joke of it now. She's like, fucking hell, I asked for a runner and he ran all right. He fucking ran away from me. And I said, oh, well, he ran away because she goes, then I realized there were things that weren't so honest about him. Okay. Now, if you're operating from a high frequency and you've called something in, right, and you've manifested it, and you think that everything's amazing in this relationship, but your higher self knows better than you. So this is when I'm manifesting something, right? And if you've manifested this relationship and this man's just taken off, that is the universe's way, or your vibration or your feelings telling you, if you wanted an honest, open, authentic person, and you thought they were giving it to you, but they obviously weren't because they just took off and ran away. That means that the universe wanted you to release something that wasn't serving you. Now, you could be angry and you could be sad about this, but this is something that I teach to transform you. You have to look at the gift, no matter how, not many people look at the gift. Now, if that was me, this is how I operate, because I'm very conscious of my thoughts. I'd actually go, all right, Joker up here, the universe, what is the gift in this? Oh, mate, left me. Say I manifested Ben, I marry him, and then all of a sudden something goes wrong and it didn't work out and I was heartbroken. I would be heartbroken. I'd say the first thing I would say, instead of getting angry, and this is what I do with every situation that's ever happened, even with something that I've dealt with grief, what is the blessing and the lesson here? Because the universe is always responding to every action, to every reaction, and to every thought. So I would say, what is the lesson here? The lesson here from my point of view and what you're saying is this person wasn't operating from a state of truth and authenticity where you were. So the good thing here is you're able to manifest the man. If you can manifest him, then you can manifest more. So what you should do then is go, all right, obviously, even if I'm heartbroken, I've got to look at the blessing here. He wasn't honest. It could be 10 years, 20 years down the track. And you may have saved yourself a very chunk of big lesson that could have caused a lot of trauma, and you say to yourself, okay, this is the lesson, there's something more I have to teach myself here, but now I'm going to manifest, and I'm going to be very accurate with the thing that I'm manifesting. I want the person to be there for the rest of my life. I want the person to be there until my end, that I leave the planet. I want the person to love me for who I am unconditionally, without conditions, because he didn't love you unconditionally. Because if he loved you unconditionally, he would not have left. So that means that he wasn't operating from a space of truth and authenticity. And when you're operating from that, what happens is sometimes the universe will just take things and people out of your life because they don't serve you.
All right, we've got a question for Jackie Jackie and Jackie.
Jackie and Jackie.
Jackie in the Zoom chat says, I have a question, please. I would like to do Transform You, but I'm going to hospital for 21 days in February. Oh, I can answer this one if you like, because I do the logistics. I'm not sure if I can do it from there. Yes, you can. We have members who travel and members who have been in hospital before that do Transform You. So, Jackie, if you're feeling called to do it now, now's the best time to do it, because that's when you'll take action on your learning. So, don't worry, all the live call dates are on the Transform You page that the angels are going to put in the chat. So you can check all the live call dates and see that you can go to those. But we record them as well. So if you've got questions for Jackie in Transform You, she'll answer them on the live calls each week, and you can watch the recording if you can't make it live. And all the learning's available for a full year. You get Jackie live for 12 weeks, but you get a full year.
And with that, I want to say this, two things. People have done my courses that have literally been inpatient in hospital. And some of the times, some people don't pop up in the community because they don't want to be seen. That's fine. They're working at their own level. But I'm going to say this to everybody listening. Any person that's even thinking about joining my program, I'm going to be straight up with you. Firstly, trust your energy. If your energy draws you to it, then yes. But do not, I'm going to be straight up with you guys, do not take my course. I'm going to be very strict here. Do not take my course if you are not ready to level up to the point, because I will call you out on your shit. If something's not working in your life, I'll be like, no. You've come to me for change. I am not sitting here enabling you, or I'm going to sugarcoat things. Like, you have to be prepared that if you want to take this course, you're going to have to take accountability for everything that's working in your life and not working. And with some of my Transform You community and people I've worked with one-on-one, what has happened is that things have come up in their life where they've realized that this relationship isn't working, or this isn't working. And it's not me pushing that into it. It's because they're doing the healing that they've realized that they were too busy serving everybody else. So you better be prepared. If anybody's thinking about taking Transform You, you have to be prepared that things are going to come up in Transform You that's really going to make you put a mirror to your face and go, this isn't working. Oh my God, this is what I have to do. Oh my God, I have to stop bitching over here. Oh my God, I want to manifest this over here. Well, you're not going to manifest that if you're still gossiping and operating from a space of jealousy about this person over there. I'm categorically saying to anybody that wants to do this, you've got to be ready for it, because it's big.
Yeah.
Then it's life changing.
That's how you see change.
So please ask, the hospital is a mental health hospital.
I would suggest to you speak to your doctor and your therapist and your psych first before you do anything, because what's important, right, is that you need to do healing for you first. Okay. So you need to make sure that you're in the headspace for this. You go and work alongside your therapists. You make sure that you put yourself first. Like, if you're thinking about doing the course, I don't want you to be triggered by things. This is why I want you to talk to your doctors. You've got to work that out first, okay? That's what you need to do, because your mental health is very, very important. And if you're feeling fragile, obviously this course is amazing and it's going to help, add to that. But I also want you to make sure that you're doing the work for you before you take any course, because you have to make sure you're right. Okay.
I'm 8 years into the mental health.
Well,
I've been a lot in the hospital.
Do you know what?
I'm reading it in the weekend, and I wanted to ask, but I just.
Always good to ask.
It's always, it's all, look, the fact that you're asking is that you're showing up and you're being open and receptive. I would have that conversation with your therapist, and they know where you're at emotionally, right? So have that conversation first, my love. Yeah?
I was going to a mental health hospital, and I thought, what if I tell them I'm into psychic mediumship? They might not let me out.
Well, first of all, when you say psychic mediumship, that's not just about psychic mediumship. It's about energy and mindset. I'm all about intuition. It's about reprogramming your mind. It's about looking at things that don't serve you. It's about operating from a state of consciousness. It's about looking at life in a positive way. It's about realizing the triggers of things that are happening in your life. It's not just about psychic mediumship. I'm just aware of my intuition, and every single human being has what I've got. I categorically believe that. It's just that we don't tune into it, right? When you tune into your intuition, we've all had in our life, I believe this, even for the most skeptic men, conservative billionaires I've done readings for that didn't believe in this, have all, when I've done readings for them, I've turned them around because I've told them things I couldn't possibly know. But the point is that most of these males and even females have all said to me, can we let this person in? Is that everything you've said about intuition is absolutely categorically spot on. Every decision I ever made was based on intuition. That is why I was able to succeed in their business. They listen to their intuition. Some people don't like to call it that, but we're all energy. So even if you take the psychic awareness away, energy, we're all operating from a frequency. We're all operating from a vibration. We're all part of, even if you take the spirituality side away and you bring in science. I'm not an expert in it, but I do know that we're made up of atoms and matter. We're operating at a frequency that's been researched and studied, and every human being has a frequency around them. And I see that as the aura. So if we're all made up of somewhat energy, how the hell is it that we don't? And this is what's so explainable. When you walk into a room, and I've said this to my Transform You, I've said this to people in readings, when you walk into a room, right, and you go, something's not quite right here, man, or you don't want to judge that person, but you're like, that story doesn't seem right, or something's not quite right, and then it's happened. Or then you've hung out with that person, you're like, why did I do that when I knew I shouldn't have? We've all felt things that have happened before they've happened. And it could be as simple as, I don't know, a thought in your head as your own voice comes in and says, I don't know, mum's going to call. But it doesn't come like that. It could just be like, you just have a thought of your mum. And then 10 minutes later, mum calls. That's you connecting to the vibration and frequency of psychic energy. And it's really interesting because when people word things like psychic mediumship, there was a program that the military did called the Stargate program. It's now been declassified, right? This is facts. It was brought up on a lot of podcasts and on judges and you know, some of these court cases and stuff where they did a thing called remote viewing. And remote viewing was, how I see it, as psychic awareness, being able to tune into your frequency. And the military used remote viewing to see what their targets were doing. But what they were actually doing is going into deep meditative states and being able to tune into the vibration and frequency. So it's really interesting in 2025, and I've been saying this for over 20 years, and even people that I've done readings for that are really religious, right? And even people that aren't religious, or people that are just, you know, on their spiritual journey. And it's not just about psychic awareness. It's about, you know, looking at their life and wanting to improve their life. Every one of them will say, I have always felt something about somebody, or I felt things and I just didn't know who I could talk to. And I thought, am I going crazy here? It's not that you're going crazy. You're tuning into the energy of it. And how many of you, even the people that I can't see, will put their hand up or just say yes, that you have felt something before it's happened, even with your child. I don't know, you know, oh, my child's not telling me the damn truth. And then, I don't know.
Fucking shit, yeah, girl.
And then, you know, next week, you know how many people that I've done readings for where they're conservatives, like some are judges, and they're like, boy, I had this vibe. I've had this vibe where my child's not telling the truth, and they're 18 and they've gone around the corner and they found a bong in their bedroom. Like, what I'm saying is that's energy that you're tuning into. Or you might have it about a friend that's not quite right. Like, so the psychic mediumship, I don't know if even though I use it, I think it's more energy. That's how I view it. But people know when you articulate it as psychic medium that I'm able to tune into the vibration of somebody that's passed.
All right, darlings, we've got a lot more questions. So I'm just going to read through the names of who we can cover tonight because my alarm just went off to say that we can't talk for another 5 minutes, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Hayley, Rhiannon, Denny, Rachna, and Joan, and Chrissy. I saw your hand up, Chrissy, so I saw yours come through and you had your hand up in time. So, okay, so Hayley and Celeste, I'm going to answer yours in the chat.
This is fun. You should see how many people I can see now. It's like,
So fun.
I feel like what I should do is one of those, one of those things, I don't know what you call that, where you put all the computers up there.
I know, all the big
and do like a
screen.
full live show. Maybe that's another thing. Maybe I should do another live show. Yeah,
So
Cool.
should we do mini answers, like 1 minute?
Mini
each?
answers. Yep.
We vote yes. We vote yeah.
We vote yes.
All right. So Haley's question is how to deal with children when they are difficult and it's not their fault, but it is draining and isolating.
First thing you got to do is ask for help. I don't care what anybody says, man. Like if they're draining and there's something that it's not their fault and they're still learning and they're still developing and there might be some kind of I don't even like using that word autism, man. I know there's all words they're on the spectrum and la 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 la. I just know that I've done readings of people that are on the spectrum or have autism and they use part of the brain that we don't use. That's again been researched. So what I would say to you is this: you've got to ask for help, man. I ask for help from everybody. As soon as I have my children, you should have seen me, friends. If you need any help, yeah, actually I do. Maria, come over. Yeah, actually come over, Carissa. Yeah, I had everyone fucking over. I didn't care. Come over. I need help. So if something's not quite right in your life, in the sense when it comes to the kids and you need help and you're feeling overwhelmed, the first thing you do is you ask for help. The second thing I would say is you speak to your GP. And what I mean by that is if you're sleep deprived, if you feel like the child's not sleeping, you're not sleeping, or whatever may be going on, you've got to be open. You've got to be honest. You share whatever you're feeling with the closest people that you love, so you're not feeling shameful about it. Listen, this is the biggest thing I teach in Transform You. You've got to stop hiding. Stop hiding things that are making you feel unhappy with the people that you love. If there is a relationship where someone is being emotionally abusive, you call them out on it. You tell your friends, you tell your family. You don't let that person get away with it. If somebody at work is doing that, you call them out. You've only got one life to live and you've got shit to do. So how you deal with a child is you ask for help. You do the best thing that you can do by going to a doctor and seeing everything that you can, or reading up or getting all the information you can for why the child is acting the way they can be. And it can also be food and diet. I can tell you something where one of the nannies that I worked with to help me with my children, she told me that some of her like twins, she was an expert in twins. They helped me with my sleeping for my kids to sleep. She said that some of the twins that she worked with over the years had highly sensitive emotions because of their foods. So you've got to research everything: foods, diet, foods, stimulation of, screens, because our minds aren't wired to be watching. Our minds and human beings are wired for being grounded, being in nature, being present. In the last 20, not 20 years, I would say 14, the amount of people being present, and 20-year-olds and 18-year-olds and 17-year-olds, and this is not, for anybody that's 18, 19, 20, you guys would understand this a little bit. Like when I was growing up, we had to be present. We didn't have phones because we didn't have phones when I was growing up. I'm 44. I don't look it. But yeah. But the point is, I believe that social media is a disservice and a service. So my answer to you is ask for help, find out what the possible problem could be, because knowledge is power.
Okay, beautiful. Denny, we're going to go to yours next. Rhiannon, I see yours as well, so you're going to be after Denny's one. Let me just scroll up. I'm going to answer your second one, Rhiannon, because if you watch the recording, Jackie did tell the story of how Ben and she met, so it was really cool.
I manifested it.
Yeah.
I manifested Ben on my vision board, and I started using every sensory that I could to call in the action that I was aligned with. So, yes.
I'm going to talk vision boards in a second with Kissy too. I can't find the question, but I know it's here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Haley.
I'm loving my Monday night with all my friends.
I know, it's fun, right? Okay, yeah. Denny, I've worked for 2 toxic. Oh, by the way, for those of you who are still pumping questions, I'm getting questions from all over the shop. We're going to run out of time, but Jackie doesn't know yet, but I'm going to ask her to do like separate video answers, and we'll keep your name anonymous and we'll post them on socials, all right?
Because am I doing that, am I?
Yeah, I think it would be really helpful because we can still get to people that we can't answer on the spot.
Yeah,
we'll keep your personal details anonymous so you can still feel safe. If you don't want us to do that, comment in the chat. Okay, Denny, I've worked for 2 toxic workplaces back to back. It's left me beyond broken emotionally and financially. Where do I begin to look to change things as I'm clearly manifesting the wrong?
Oh my God, girl. I'm going to say this, and this is not even about my course. This is fundamentally what I honestly believe as human beings. The best investment you can do is in yourself, your self-health, your self-worth, knowing who you are, where you're going wrong. You need to rechange how you think. I'd never, ever use words like, and this is what I teach you, Transform You. I can't afford it. I used to. I would never do that now because I know the universe is always listening and operating at that vibration. Now, with your self-worth, you've got to learn how to raise that vibrational energy and get rid of the things that don't serve you. And that's what I teach in Transform You. Now, this isn't a self for you to come and do Transform You, but what I'm saying to you is, if that means you need to go and get a personal trainer and start exercising to clear your damn mind, start meditating. Like, what I'm saying to you is your investment in yourself will start to see change. So you've got to come back to who you were before you did these jobs and write, like I said, journal why you keep attracting these people. You're obviously attracting these certain jobs because here you are looking after everybody else but yourself. You've answered the question, girl.
Beautiful.
Get going. I get motivated and passionate about that because I used to be like that.
You have more control than you think you do, right? Once you're in that mindset. All right, Rhiannon, we're going to go to your second one.
I'm looking at like 4 screens here, guys.
Okay, well, that's Rhiannon's first one. So
yeah.
The second one. There we go. Okay, so I've had hardship after hardship, loss of parents. I'm trying to stay super strong. How do you stay strong during grief and hard times? Thank you again for being a bloody legend. Oh, I love it.
Oh, how do you stay strong in grief and hard times? Well, I am leading into that. I was leading into that last year and I'm still leading into it. My advice to you, and I might even do a little, I might even do a module on grief for Transform You. I think that's very important, how to navigate that.
Sending you a really big hug if you are too.
Oh, thank you. No, that's okay. That's okay. But you know what? This is how, I'm going to say that's okay. What I've learned into is the acceptance of, even with the work that I do, is that every human being has a time that we all leave this frequency, this planet. What I do know as being a psychic medium, this is what I lean into, and with the information I know about people that have passed away and the readings that I do that are so accurate, is that when you leave this planet, you go to another consciousness. There's another energy you go to. And that's based upon what you've done in this time. I ain't coming back. I've already said that. God bless everybody else that wants to come back to Earth. I ain't coming back. I got shit to do on the next frequency. So what? No, I do. So this is how I lean into it. Yeah. So this is how I lean into it, right? I literally look at all the beautiful experiences that I have with this person. I give thanks for the beautiful lessons that I experienced with this person, even the ebbs and flows and what they taught me and what I taught them. And I also lean into the beautiful memories of that person, but I also allow myself to cry and be present with whatever feeling I'm feeling. Like, so the other day, I haven't shared this. I'm going to share it with all of you now.
Thank you so much for sharing.
That's okay. I was coming back from the gym, was driving my car, and all of a sudden, because I was parking what I was doing, like parking the grief for a second, because I had so much going on, with Bali Bliss out. But when I say parking it, not as in not dealing with it, I said, no, give me a second, universe, give me the strength to do what I have to do. And they did. So I was coming home and I just felt this overwhelming emotion that I had to release, a lot of tears. So I kind of pulled over to the point I just like broke down, and then a minute and a half later, stopped, looked at the beach, went, well, that was nice. And then I just started laughing at myself because I look at everything with, positive activity with it. And I went, okay, this was nice. My body needed that. And I didn't allow myself to feel bad about my feelings. And what I've come across with people that deal with grief is that they're still operating from a space of anger. So the person will be like, why the fuck did that person have to go? Why did they leave? How come this person left before this person? When you operate from that, you can't do the inner healing. So
that is so fucking true, man. I know.
It is, my love. So with that, with any person that's dealing with any type of grief, you have to allow yourself to lean into it, and you cannot ignore it, because let me tell you, you're a human being. We all have emotions. It's going to come up, and grief will come up for the next 67 years. I know people like that are in their 90s that still cry over their mum, and why wouldn't you, and their dad? Like, that's a part of who you are. But the beautiful thing about grief is that it allows you to keep their memory alive.
Mm-hmm.
I think, just sorry quickly, and then I'm going to leave.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
I think you only grieve for the love that you've lost, and that is the beauty in grief.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is true.
That amazing love.
That is true.
Thank you so much for answering my question. I'll stop interrupting you. But thank you.
No, but thank you for asking it, my love.
No worries. Thank you.
Let's go to Rachna now. Hey everyone, I've been manifesting. Oh, by the way, I'm answering some of your chats. The people we've run out of time, we're still going to find a way to answer your question. It might not be right in this moment, but we will. Hey everyone, I've been manifesting a new home for years, and every time I get close, it falls through for the strangest reason.
Well, girl, I teach you in Transform. You don't even have to tell the rest of it. I already know what I'm psychic. Listen, it's falling through because you don't truly believe what you're asking for. So when something comes so close and it hasn't happened quick enough, you're trying to control the outcome. Why hasn't this happened? So what you're actually doing is rubber banding. So you're saying you've got the faith. You're saying it's nearly here, but all of a sudden it might be out of your reach financially. And I don't even like that word. You are financially abundant. See, what I see in others is what I see in myself. So what you're actually doing is you need to tune into the art of surrendering and releasing. That is one of the most, what I've seen, and even with my own work, and I've manifested everything, and I'm a very quick manifester, is that when you learn how to surrender without how the thing happens, and most of our habitual thinking, like I said, comes from our environment, our parents. So you might be as positive as there is for 10 hours of the day, but there might be that 5 minutes that tunes back in to the negative self-talk because your mother might have said, well, we can't afford that. Oh, who do you think you are to have that house? Oh, la, 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 la. So when you're manifesting anything, right, you have to have complete faith that you already have it. You have to act as if you already have it. You have to tune into your vibration and frequency. So every hour, teachers and transforming, you have to be aware and conscious of your thoughts. You have to be aware and conscious of the people you surround yourself with. Even you gossiping, if you even think that you're not gossiping, it could be as simple as somebody going, oh, look at that chick. Look, have you seen the new house she bought? Okay, she's got that house, but she thinks she's amazing. I'm not saying you're doing this. Even entering into a conversation of somebody that talks like that, you're actually lowering your frequency. So what you have to do is, if you want to manifest that house, you have to act as if it's already happened. You have to sit in your subconscious mind, meaning that with Transform You, this is what's really important. And this is why so many people that do courses come to me and go, done this course, but it's not really helping me, or it's helped me here, or it's helped me there. It's because there's still a part of them that hasn't done the inner work, right? And it's very easy to blame other things and situations as to why this hasn't happened. When I manifest or I'm doing anything, I don't let anybody know what I'm manifesting. And when I'm putting something out to the universe, because the universe is always responding to everything I think, how I respond to the money that I have, that's another thing. If you're, say all of a sudden the universe dropped $10,000 in your bank account, the universe, just out of nowhere, I don't know, you manifest 10K. The universe will watch what you do with that money, how you respond to that frequency, how you respond to that energy of that money, and what you do with it. Now, are you going to go now and give that friend over there that said that they couldn't afford their rent $1,000? Oh, no, I would. I'm not telling you that you should. The universe is always operating. Are you going to keep all that coins for you and go, I'm going to go and buy myself a new fucking bag? I don't know. Wrong intent. Now, not wrong intent with the fact that you want the bag, because if you want that bag, you can have that and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you just manifested a lump of 10K and you're being greedy with it, and the vibration, the frequency is all about you, and there's no giving back, that's also an unconscious block. And I can go dive deeper into that. So if you're so close to manifesting, my belief is there's a part of you that still thinks you're unworthy of the actual thing you're manifesting. And the lesson here for you is learning to surrender it and act as if it's already happened, and don't have a single doubt that it's not going to come for you.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, we're going to go to Joan next. Joan, I'm just scrolling down to yours. And then we've got Chrissy. Joan and Chrissy, and those of you who missed out tonight, a couple of things. We'll try and answer them separately on socials and keep you anonymous. Also, Jackie does 12 of these calls in Transform You. So if you are joining, if you think you're joining.
12. And not just that, I also have the circle as well, guys, where I do pop-up psychic medium readings.
Yes.
So, and I wasn't going to do that, but I had a vibe to do that. It's not a one-on-one psychic medium reading. They're pop-up readings. Anybody that knows this, like, I can tune into people's frequency. Any person that's done the circle or has come to my live show, mate, it's on, isn't it?
It's like that. Yeah,
it's like you were like, there's messages that pop. I don't even know what I'm going to say, but I had a client the other day that said to me that somebody they knew was on the call, and actually it wasn't just one person. I've had quite many of them, and all of a sudden I was calling this person by a name that passed over father used to call them. And then I gave them another
Amazing.
nickname and they still weren't answering up. And they're like, what are you doing? Answer that. So yes, I do pop up psychic medium readings with the circle too. And that's even, look, I still blow myself away, you know, and I've been doing this for 20 years.
I think the biggest difference too, when you're talking about readings, is people ask Jackie that a lot. What's the difference between readings in the circle and Transform You? Transform You, if you choose plus, you get a personal reading.
A personal psychic reading with me. But the reason I do Transform You, and when people go to me, but I just want the reading without the course. Well, guess what? I don't want to just give you the reading without the course because I want you to learn how to do your own psychic medium readings.
We want to give you that long-term
This
support.
is why I did this course. When you got over 18,000 people that want psychic medium readings, and I was doing a meditation one day, and I said, what is my next phase? And I heard it's clear as day. You need to teach people what you taught yourself. People need to understand that every single human being has the power to create the life that they want. But so many people, I actually wish that I had someone like me many years ago show me how to manifest, show me how to tune into my vibrations, show me how to let go of stuff that didn't serve me. And actually, even when I say that, when I was tuning into my own vibration, doing all the inner healing work, I've probably read every book under the sun. And neuroscience book, spirituality, like Louise Hay, Wayne Dwyer, Dr. Joseph Murphy, The Game of Life, Florence Chin, Course in Miracles. I have read so many books, and I'd be reading like 4 a week just to learn about the mind, to learn about frequency and vibration. So my psychic medium readings isn't just about giving you messages from the other side. It's also showing you how to reprogram your mind from a negative to a positive, and releasing and letting go of those self-sabotaging beliefs.
That's so funny because that's Joan's question.
Oh.
How do you raise our vibrations? And when journaling, Joan, I really like this question. When journaling, do we keep it positive or do we just write down exactly?
No, you write everything down, because if you're just keeping everything positive, that's ridiculous. We're human beings. We all have negative and positive thoughts. Even I do, but I'm very good at releasing the negative thoughts, changing it to a positive immediately. I do not let it drag out. So if somebody, annoyed me, and I get irritated with something, I'll allow it. I give thanks for it. I forgive myself, and I move on from it. But I don't allow that person back in my energy. That's the difference. I know how to set healthy boundaries. So with that, guys, when you're asking me, do you journal positive and negatives? You journal it all because you want to release all of the stuff inside of you. You want to release it onto that paper, so it removes that self from your vibrational energy. So yes, you do it all.
Beautiful. All right, so we're going to do Chrissy tonight, and then we're just going to take a few minutes for those who want Transform Your details. I'm going to share them after Jackie finishes. But Chrissy, your question. I've got a list of people who we didn't get to, so don't worry, you won't miss out. We will find a way to answer your question on socials instead and keep you anonymous. Okay, Chrissy, I've done a new vision board. We talk vision boards and Transform You, Chrissy. So I'm going to show you that again too later because I know you're one of our Transform You members. But tonight we'll answer as well. I've done a new vision board for 2025. I'm not sure why my wishes and what I manifest don't come true. I've been told I should have children. If that's the case, why didn't I? Is this saying what is meant for you won't pass you by? Is that just BS?
Man, if you've looked at my life, and I said this as soon as everybody's entered in, I've manifested everything in my life from nothing, even when people told me to get my fucking head out of the clouds. I've manifested my love life, Transform You, myself on 3 shows. I manifested myself on The Housewives, 2 sellout shows on Shine It Up. And when people say that, and I mean, I said I wanted twins. I mean, I didn't say I wanted twins. I had a dream. My grandmother came to me and said I was going to have twins. And I did over 7 rounds of IVF. Now, I believe the universe put me there. My higher self was testing me so I would be able to connect with people on this level. And one of the reasons, I was actually speaking to somebody I work with on The Housewives. And they said to me, one of the reasons that you were one of the fan favorites is because you are so connectable, Jackie. You keep it 100. Even if people didn't agree or like some of the things I said, whatever. But people still wanted to watch you because you always kept it 100. So when you ask that, I believe if you can see it, you can create it. Now, I'm not saying that you can create something that's manipulating, or you can just all of a sudden, fall pregnant at 55. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is when you want to manifest something, you have to take a good, hard look at your life and look at where you're operating from with your thoughts. That's the first thing. Then you also have to look at your environment. Then you also have to look at your childhood. Then you also have to look at your belief system. Then you also have to look at why you think the way you think. Then you have to do, I don't call it hard work, but many people say, fight was hard, Jackie. This is why I say don't take my course unless you're ready to rise up. Then you have to look at why you treat yourself the way you treat yourself. So one of the reasons that people will go, like one of the things that you did, you actually answered your own questions. You didn't even realize it. You said, people told me I was going to have it, and this didn't happen, and that didn't happen. Well, guess what? Look at the beautiful things that you can do. You can get up, you can see. So when you tune into gratitude, you start raising your vibrational energies up. You start giving thanks. What starts happening is your body starts responding. Your body responds to every thought you think. Listen, if you're telling yourself negative thoughts all day long, which I used to, and I know a lot of you guys have too, you know how your body responds. You start getting stressed. You start getting fearful. You start getting anxious. You start getting angry. You start getting pissed off. You start feeling like, why is everything happening for everybody else but not me? So instead of thinking like that, and instead of teaching Transform You, how about you just go, fuck it, I've got nothing else to lose. Maybe I'll start being positive for once. Maybe I'll just go, oh, well, the child's not here. Don't rely. And this is the other thing why I did Transform You. I don't want everybody relying on me for answers. The answers are within you. Yes, people can come to me for psychic medium readings. I'm going to give you messages. But I want you to realize that you have what I've got. You've got to learn how to tune into that vibration.
And we do a whole module on intuition. It is mind-blowing. And we just did like a mini version in the Bali retreat. And those of you who went to Bali will remember what that felt like. That was amazing.
I'm going to do another one of those at the next retreat, because what I did was...
We were shocked at what we learned.
Yeah, but I did it in a way that nobody knew what they were doing. So nobody was
amazing.
In their mind.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you get in your head, you actually step away from being able to enter into your power. So when you surrender, you release, and you're open and receptive, and you start tuning into the positives, and you start operating from a space of truth, authenticity. And by the way, if someone doesn't like you for who you are, the most beautiful, honest, authentic person you are, your personality, guess what? Fuck them. They don't need to be in your life. No.
Before we go into the next thing, I'm putting a question in the chat for our existing Transform You students. I just would love you to type underneath my question, what's your favorite module in Transform You? Because I'm just going to share with everybody now what we've covered. I'm actually going to kick Jackie off in a couple of minutes because she's gone like 22 minutes over time.
But I love this. There's so many people online, and I'm loving all of you. I just love how everyone's come on here. And you know what I want to say that you should be thanking is yourself, because all the people that I've got the most beautiful community, the Transform You community, but even the new people that thought, I want to just listen up here. I always say there is no such thing as coincidences. And I said this in the beginning of it. You've come on here because there's something inside yourself that wants to change, shift, expand, right? When you expand your consciousness. Now, this goes deep in Transform You. When you start learning to shift and expand your consciousness, and you start perceiving your reality through your inner self, that means your inner reality is what the universe responds to. Now, even when my life looked like a fucking whole mess, my relationship breakdown, crying in my bed for a good year over a dumb relationship was so ridiculous. Now I look back at it, oh my God. But I honor that space that I was in, because if I wasn't in that space, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be doing energy work. I wouldn't be working as a psychic. I wouldn't be on TV. I'd be sitting in a kitchen, cooking and cleaning, asking, can I go out with my friends? It wouldn't have lasted, because I know my personality. But what I did was I dumbed myself down for a relationship that didn't serve me. I wasn't being honest. I wasn't being authentic. And I was doing a disservice to myself. So my lesson for all of you guys here, which is a beautiful lesson, a positive lesson, is that I believe that every single person that's sitting here listening to this wants some type of change in their life. And even if something resonates with you here, write it down, because that's your higher self trying to call you in. You're responding to the energy. And I'm a believer too, is that when you start hanging around like-minded people that want to see you win, how is it that you cannot win? All my friends that hang out with me, which is really interesting, even ones that didn't know how to tune into their vibrational frequency, will be like, oh my God, I'm starting to see my grandma or my sister that's passed. I'm starting to feel these vibes and that vibes since hanging out with you, because that is what I want for everybody to be the best version of themselves. What's the next thing that you want to ask for?
That's it, I think, for questions. I'm going to steal your seat in a minute and just answer a couple of the Transform You based stuff, like the logistics of the course.
Now, before I go, guys, I want to say this to you. Really take note of what I said. Journal, meditate. When you're journaling, journal all the negative things and all the positive things that come to your mind. And anything that's giving you fear-based thoughts and you're journaling, start looking at the pattern of why you're thinking the way you're thinking. When does the trigger come up? Does it come up when you're under stress? Does it come up when you're around particular people? Does it come up when you're at work? All of these things is energy speaking to you. And with Transform You, what I do is I go deep, like next level deep. And so with that, even if you're taking something from tonight, and I know all of you will take a little something, take away that you deserve to have a happy, peaceful, joyful life. And the only way that that can happen is if you start changing the way you look at yourself. And on that note, my loves, I've got to shine off because I've been on here for a while and I've got to go and check on my chibicoladas. I actually do. My chibicoladas, my little babies. Thank you so much for coming on here tonight. I appreciate all of you. And whoever I see in Transform You, I know there's a lot of people that have signed up and I can't wait to see you all. And get ready, man. It's gonna get cray-cray in a good way, isn't it? I'll let you go, Marissa.
All
Bye,
right.
guys. Love yous.
We're not going to hang up for a second because I know those of you who are watching the recording might want these details as well. So also, Abby and Celeste, I saw your beautiful comments. Lovely. So I'll make sure Jackie sees those as well. That was beautiful. I love seeing you guys on here. I love seeing those modules that you guys like in Transform You. And to all those people saying, thanks very much. Have a great night. We loved having you here. Now, Transform You, for those who are wondering, there is 2 different versions of the program. One is a little more accessible if you're looking at budgets and payment plans. So you can have Transform You, the program, which is where you get full access to the program for a year. You also get Jackie live for 12 weeks. She does